Okay, so I'm sorry that happened with the audio. Hopefully I'll get all of you back now. Is there anybody out there? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Remember that one from Pink Floyd? Is anybody out there? Can you hear me now, hopefully? Joe, can you hear me? Is there anybody out there? Man, how come I just lost? Okay, good. So, anyways, hopefully everybody comes back. Only 2 people have come back so far. That sucks. Hi, Dominic. How are you doing? I'm good. I was just doing the live stream and everybody lost my audio. And so I started it over. So, making products. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about is that I've kind of had the time to be able to make my products extra good. So I've just been like making them really slow. You know how when you can just take a whole lot of time to do something really good? Well, that's what I've been doing lately. I've been kind of caught up on bills and things seem to be going pretty good. Just been a little bit slow with business. So if you want a really extra good product right now, that's what I'm doing. If you want a roller or a pillow or whatever, I'm making things really extra good right now because I don't seem to be in too big of a rush. And this is kind of what I've been hoping to get my life like, to where I can just really taking my time, I'm just moving along. You know what I mean? Yes, no mass production here. That is for sure. But yeah, so let's see. Oh, another thing is that there's this material that they sell at Organic Cotton Plus that is a color grown cotton. Believe it or not, they can grow organic cotton in different colors. And they've been doing that for a long time. There's this woman in Arizona that mostly does it. But in any case, there's this material called hieroglyphics. And it is just the best material. And it's color grown, you know. And it is also like $28 a yard. $28 a yard. And I was thinking, you know, that if somebody really wanted just the very best pillow, they wanted to spend an extra $25 on a pillow, that I should offer that. And so I might offer that in the future, just kind of for fun, you know, and I might even make one for me. But hey, Joe, feel free to contact me. Would like to know you. Okay. That's brave of you, James, to put your phone number on there. I've done that actually a few times. Hi, Joyce. Hey, Joyce, how are you, girl? Joyce Grisham. I am fine, James Guilford. We have 8 people back. We lost a whole lot of people, though, there, didn't we? We had 20 on, and then I had to restart the feed. Hi again, Niece Pie. What the hell does that mean, Niece Pie? Anyway, so I told you about how I couldn't wake up and how I'm making products extra clean. And I told you a little bit about the tarot cards that I'd picked. cleansing for a long time. You know, y'all, I'll have to admit, I have been doing this cleansing and healing thing for so long. And people think I look young, but I don't always feel young. And whenever I'm doing some heavy cleansing like I have for the last couple of days, I feel like death warmed over. Nisi pie. Nisi pie. Yeah, but what does it mean? We know how it's pronounced now, but what does it mean? Yes, I'm a blonde Norwegian Viking. What do you call that bag to clean your colon again? Well, you know, I don't use a bag anymore. I use a stainless steel bucket, Ocean Sound. And yeah, it's much better. It's only, remember, you only should buy the American made one because the ones made in like India will rust out, I've heard. I put a link to the ones that I like, the Amazon link, on my website. Look under cleansing and healing products. They are $60, but you only have to buy it once, like most of my products. They last forever. And it's an Amazon affiliate product. So remember that any of my Amazon affiliate products that you buy, or anything you buy on Amazon, if you go to my site and you go to my affiliate product first, and then you click over to Amazon, I will get a small percentage of the purchase that you made, regardless of what purchase you make, like 6%. So it helps me out. So if you appreciate my videos, go through my website first before you buy anything on Amazon. My friend Crystal does that all religiously. Like she bought, what did she buy? She bought some big ticket items the other day, and I made like 16 bucks or something, 11 bucks. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, you used to sell clay for that too. Okay, name from your late husband. Okay. Cool. Wondering about relationships, if there will be someone coming in my life. Man, I don't know, but I might do astrology consultations someday. And yeah, I've wanted to do that, but I'm not near good enough at that yet. I just do holistic consultations now, but I know kind of basics about astrology. But as for tarot cards, maybe I could just pick one for you real quick. Let's see if it'll give us something. I have the traditional tarot card deck that was, this one was devised a little over 100 years ago. It's called the Weight tarot card deck, something like that. So let's see. Everyone loves James. James, you're getting all the attention tonight. Let's pick you a tarot card. Okay, here we go. That one. The Hanged Man. Oh my God. The Hanged Man. But I picked it upside down. You know, I shouldn't even pick these because, ladies, I'm gay. Oh shoot, the Hanged Man. I can't remember. I picked that once for me, and I can't remember what it is. That's the problem here. I have to go get the book to read what it is. And I don't want to read the whole thing right now, because I think we're near the end of this deal. But that's what you got. You'll have to look it up yourself. I don't know if I picked it up right, or I picked it this way. I picked it that way, and I'm not sure if that's upright or the other way is right. So that would be the reversed. If it were picked the reversed way, then it would be the reversed meaning. And there is a reversed meaning for each card. What do you think about CBD and vaping? I think that vaping is not a good thing, and I think that CBD is mildly effective. The reason that I don't think that vaping is good is because I believe that is not extracted tobacco. The active ingredient in the tobacco, I do not believe that is extracted naturally. I think it's mass-produced extracted, and that then you're not getting the other ingredients of the tobacco, even though tobacco is a completely natural plant. And I believe that if you were to create like a tincture or an extract or something like that from it, that it could be of use medicinally. I don't believe that it's probably not good like anything else to smoke it, not good for your lungs. But I do not believe that the way that they extract the medicinal ingredients of tobacco via vaping, the vaping to create that product, I don't believe that's natural, and I believe that's going to cause a lot of grief for a lot of people. And another reason why I don't think that it's a good thing is because I have gotten some secondhand vape smoke. I've breathed that in, and it was bad for me. It was a bad thing. I went into a vape shop in Brevard once to do something, just to check it out or to leave a card or something. And when I left there, I felt weird. I felt nauseated. I had taken in some secondhand vape smoke, and it made me feel bad physically. It was bad. But the CBD oil, I have that, and I have some from Bluebonnet, and I consume that sometimes, and it does kind of take the chill off of you. But I don't believe that that's really, I think that having it in a low THC content, keeping it like breeding it to be a low THC content, I don't think that that's smart. I think that it's okay to be high to a degree sometimes, but I don't personally smoke pot. If I were to utilize it, it would be in some kind of an edible, an extract, something like that. That's what I think about all of that. And I sold some products for someone that lives in Colorado that runs a distillery, I believe he called it, where they sell pot. And that's another subject. I'm glad that you brought that up, whoever that was. Who brought that up? Nick. Thank you, Nick. Because I want to talk about how that is such a great offsetter. I was watching a video. What was it? Oh, if you want to see this video, you can go back just a couple of days to the PBS site on YouTube. And they had a very interesting video part, whatever you call it, on how this guy from Safford, Arizona, where I actually lived, a Mormon, because it's 85% Mormon. I was just working at a spa there. And when I moved there, I had no idea that it was 85% Mormon. But this guy that was from Safford had moved to Phoenix. He became a cop. He got in some accidents. He had a lot of pain. And he was on prescription pain meds for years and years, causing him nothing but problems. And his kid from Washington State introduced him to pot. And pot is, medicinal pot is legal in Arizona. It's not legal openly in all regards in Arizona, but medicinally, if you get a prescription, like in Utah also. In Utah, it's also available with a prescription. And they have stores that you can go to. And this son of his turned him on to it. And like so many other people in this little video from PBS, older people that never thought that they would ever use marijuana to get rid of their pain, their anxiety, whatever it may be. They're using it every day now. And it showed him go into this distillery. And this guy, he teaches people. He teaches people in Arizona, which is largely old people. Anybody that's ever lived in Tucson or Phoenix knows that every freaking block, there is a drugstore. There's a CVS. There's a Walgreens. There's all these shitloads of drugstores. And old people live on drugs in Arizona because they're so full of so much parasites and chemicals, etc. And they're in so much pain because that's what all of that creates. When your body gets toxic, the more toxic it gets, the more inflammation you're going to get and the more pain you're going to get into. And if you don't do these things that I'm telling you that you should do to get away from all of that, loading up of your body's tissues and fat with toxins, the older you get, the more supersaturated with toxins you're going to get, and the more inflammation you're going to get. Therefore, the more people are going to be going to their doctors for drugs, but they know that they can get addicted to the OxyContin and all the other ones, and that they're bad for them. But at the same time, on Facebook and on the news and on all these different places and all these different states that are legalizing pot, a totally natural alternative, they're learning that it's not necessarily so freaking smart to trust medical fucking doctors. They're learning, people are learning that it's not so smart to trust somebody that's portraying himself with a white uniform and a tie and an education of where they can tell you about all these technical terms that you don't know what it means, and they have to explain it to you because they went to school for 8 years or 16 years or whatever the hell they did, and they spent $100,000+ to be able to have all these technical terms in their mind, and you believe them because they sound and they look so damn smart. But now they're starting to learn that maybe these people aren't really smart. Maybe they're shysters trying to earn as much money as they can possibly earn by doing a profession that's had all of these billions of dollars poured into it so that they can learn how to create these drugs that they can patent, that they can prescribe to all these stupid, unknowing, dumb shits. People that have lost their natural instinct for what is right, what is wrong, what is acceptable, what is connected to God, and what's not connected to God. And I'm telling you, anything that's processed, whether it be tobacco that's had a lot of other ingredients removed from it, a lot of its natural constituents removed from it to create this pure vaping, whatever the fuck it is, this pure product. When you remove the other natural constituents, just like in all the drugs, to create something that's just the pure form of the active ingredient, when you just take the active ingredient out and then you patent it to sell to people, you're going to usually get some immediate positive results that people think is a miracle. And then as time goes on, they learn that it wasn't such a miracle because now they're addicted, or now they're experiencing all these other side effects. You can't screw with nature. You can't screw with nature. You have to stick with the natural. And that's where God is. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Mormon or a Baptist or a Buddhist or a Krishna devotee, whatever you are, you have to stick with the natural. And so many things that are just being thrown out into the landfill, packaging, that are not good for getting into the water, that are leaching chemicals. You're going to find that it's not just the coal ash. It's not just the coal ash that's leaching all kinds of chemicals and crap into the water, and that the people right next to that coal ash place, whatever they call it, are getting sick and cancer, like I saw on PBS the other night. It's not just them. It's also chemicals coming from all of this stuff we're throwing in the landfills that's going to get into the water supply. And so humans, like when you've lived for 54 years and you've studied natural things, and you know, and you smelled the smell of this or that. This is a pooter. You got to have a sense of humor, because this stuff is heavy. This stuff I'm talking about is really heavy. I can't do it with my right hand for some reason. It's supposed to make a fart sound. There we go. Is that good? There we go. Yeah, and the microplastics. Like, that is just like, that is a bad thing right there. That is a bad thing. Because you know what the deal is with the microplastics. Things that people are wearing, their clothes, the clothes that people are wearing now are largely synthetic. And so every time people wash their clothes, little microfibers, you see it in your dryer. You see the when you pull the screen out, you see the excess that's come off, the loose fibers that have come off, and they get caught in the screen. And then you take it off and you throw that in the garbage. Well, a lot in the washer, a lot of microfibers come off and get into the water and go out through the little holes and go out to the sewage system. And guess where they go? They go out in big pipes going out into the ocean. Those big sewage pipes, treatment pipes, the water gets treated and then it gets run out in huge pipes, miles, couple of miles out into the ocean off the coasts of LA and South Carolina and all the coasts all over the place. And all those microfibers, trillions and trillions of tiny little microfibers from synthetic clothing are going to get into the fish. It's a scary freaking thing. It's a scary thing. And why people want to wear, see, people don't know. I guess people don't know that they shouldn't be wearing clothes with 40% polyester. Nylon, polyester. But they look so cool. They look so pretty. All those cute lacy undies that you girls are wearing that are made out of some synthetic polyester, don't wear that shit. Buy only cotton. And pretty soon, but here's another thing with the pot, with the hemp. The hemp makes great fabric. And nowadays, there are, in North Carolina now, there are 1,500 registered, and they have to get registered, they have to get licensed to grow hemp. 1,500 registered hemp growers in the state of North Carolina. And now, check this out. You should watch that that thing on PBS from yesterday. It's from yesterday. A lot of the tobacco growers that made 170 something billion dollars selling tobacco to China in previous years, now this year they're not making squat because of all the tariffs. Okay, China has only bought 4 billion worth of tobacco from North Carolina this year. So what are they doing? They're growing hemp. Now there's as many hemp growers in North Carolina as tobacco growers, 1,500 of them. And you know what that means? A lot of fabric now is going to start to be made out of hemp. It's a great fiber, and thank God. Tell people about the microfibers. It's up to you. I'm starting it. Other people are starting it. We're talking about it. It's important that everybody start talking about these issues, because you're not going to get to eat any more fish. You can fucking forget it. You can forget eating fish in the ocean, and you can forget about seaweed too. And you need seaweed, because the more radiation there gets to be in this world, the more you need seaweed to protect your thyroid and also the other micronutrients that are in seaweed. It's really important to eat sea vegetables regularly. And if people pollute the oceans, then there's not going to be any more seaweed. The seaweed already has a lot of mercury in it. The only place where there's really clean seaweed anymore is in New Zealand. Yeah, hemp is supposed to be good for making a lot of different things. I have some hemp here somewhere. I like hemp. Hemp is good. And so there's going to be a lot more hemp, but people have to be educated. They have to know, because when they see these really bright colored Las Vegas looking clothes and they're attracted to them, then they're going to want to buy them, and they don't even look at the label. People don't even look at the label, and it's harder to find things that are made out of natural materials, but you can via the internet mostly. You can't at Walmart. Thank God they at least still have some things, but like underwear, because people's genitals are more sensitive, and they know that they better keep making them out of cotton. And so, in any case, it's all really kind of depressing sometimes. And that's why it's really important to separate yourself and come back to center and connect with God. And realize that this planet is just one little tiny, tiny speck. And the whole thing might not even be like, there may be other dimensions that are even beyond this whole universe. There's certainly other dimensions that are completely different. And so if you look at things from a more godly perspective, and that would be like your Neptune, where your Neptune was when you were born. I have Neptune in Scorpio. And Scorpio is very spiritual. Scorpio is all about sex and death and intuition, largely. I need to study Scorpio more. Scorpio is secret things. Sex is secretive, largely. It's not that as secretive for me, but I had a French girlfriend once. You know how they're really sexual in France? Well, they also keep it very discreet. She would not kiss in public. She did not like to be seen by anybody else, even just kissing in public. I don't know if that's how they all are, but in bed, oh my God, totally sexy, dirty, sexy, dirty. And it was fun. But In any case, do we have any more things to talk about here? Society is like an alcoholic, and you should be aware that it's going to hit some rock bottom points. It's not just going to be like one massive thing. There are going to be things that happen that just kick humanity in the ass. Serious. Kick humanity in the ass. You're a Scorpio, Ocean Sound? Cool. Scorpios are kind of, Scorpios, like, I've had some experience with Scorpios a little bit, and I don't really like the secretive aspect of them, how they are. Like, that's one of the things that I don't like. Because you know me, most people know me that I'm really open like a clam for the most part about most things. And in fact, if YouTube would allow it, I would be a lot more open. You would not believe the titles, the video titles that I would have, that I would run all kinds of crazy shit if I were not afraid of losing my channel, getting killed by the KKK, all kinds of shit that I would do. Sex things, all kinds of things that I would do on this channel if I could get away with it. But I can't, so I don't. Let's see. I keep my tarot cards in a cloth. I'm not going to move that camera again. Last time I did that, I lost my sound. But I keep them in a cloth. And I fold them up like that. And I like it because it keeps them safe and from getting doinked. You would do sex things? Yeah, I would talk about all kinds of sex stuff. I don't know that I would like do sex things, but you know, I would talk about all kinds of stuff. But maybe I should start a different channel. It wouldn't get monetized because that's how YouTube is. It has to be family friendly. Videos have to be family friendly. And yes, they will allow a certain degree of swearing, this and that. But for the most part, they have to be family friendly. And, and for some reason, humanity has decided that sex is not family friendly. Maybe it's because some parents don't want their kids to learn about sex. They want them to learn all on their own because they're afraid to talk to them about sex. You know, we live in that kind of a world where you have the Catholic Church that is so pure. They're so pure. Their priests are so pure. It's an effed up world that we live in. And you've got all these people on the right that still think 30% of the population of the United States, 30% think that they say that they like the character of Donald Trump. Nothing to do with his policies. They like Donald Trump's character. He doesn't lie. He's not a shyster. He's not a greedy piece of shit. They actually like the character of Donald Trump. That's the world you live in, my friends. So, you know, go figure. Go figure. Okay, me taking the hard line. It's the last thing on the list for tonight, y'all, and it's been almost 2 hours. So sometimes I think to myself that I'm too hardcore. I'll give you an example. Okay. The example is something that I wrote on Facebook for fun the other day. And it goes like this. If I were the president, everyone would hate me. Number one, first, I'd balance the budget and cut spending on everything. This includes the military, government jobs, social programs, everything. I'd have a $1 trillion surplus, not deficit. Imagine that. $1 trillion surplus instead of $1 trillion deficit. That means that I would have to cut like shitloads of stuff, but I would do that if I were the president. And so many people would hate me. Number two, I'd outlaw processed foods and close down all fast food restaurants. I'd force everyone to start a garden on their property and grow some of their own food. Anyone that didn't have a growing garden in their yards would have to pay more taxes and also be fined. I'd force everyone to take mandatory classes on natural foods and natural diet. It's like a communist green party. Number three, I'd make everyone learn about cleansing and how to do enemas. Imagine that, me tweeting that as the president. I want everyone to start tomorrow learning about cleansing and how to do enemas. Number four, everyone would have to do some form of exercise every day. Anyone that didn't exercise would have to pay more taxes and lose all their health benefits. This is what I'm talking about with being hardcore, and this is somewhat exaggerated, but I would work all this in over like a 5-year or 8-year period of time that I was president, 4-year or 8-year period of time. I would do it. I'm serious. I would get radical with this society. Number six, I'd execute all the prisoners with violent crime records or repeat offenders. I'd save so fucking much money, you wouldn't believe it. I'd limit hearing times to 3 months max and reduce appeals to 1 time only. Our judicial system is like a joke. It's like a joke. And what you will see, okay, is that as all of these more difficult times in our future come into play, people are going to start to think about, well, who's expendable? Because there are people in this world that are costing us, you and me and everyone, a whole lot of money. And these people may have been brought up in tough situations and this and that or whatever. But regardless, there are going to be people that are going to be expendable. People that are expendable. And that means that we don't want to pay 50 grand a year to house and feed some prisoner that just keeps coming back into prison, keeps doing violent crimes, this and that. Okay, so those people are going to be expendable. And that will happen when there are a lot of people out there, good people, that don't have food on their tables. People that are paying taxes out of their $10 an hour paycheck to house and feed violent criminals. And those people will start to scream. The tougher the economy gets, the tougher things get, the more the weather fights back against humanity. So many different things that are going to turn the screws in on humans. The more people are going to say, hey, what about those son of a bitches that are in prison and we're paying for them? It'll be time to get rid of a whole lot of them. That's what it'll be time for. So that's what I'd do if I were the president. I'd allow migrants to come here and work for $2 an hour for 5 years to earn their citizenship. So it's not the same as it was a couple hundred years ago where we were wanting migrants to come. We were wanting people to come. Things change. Okay, so the Constitution was written hundreds of years ago. And it may have been great that everyone was welcome to come back then. But things change. And there's always supply and demand. And if you're going to bring millions of people here from South and Central America, you better have a plan for them. You better have some work for them. And what I would do is create jobs for them on organic work farms, building solar panels and making wind turbines and installing them too. And if I were the president, I would have this whole country on natural power in 5 years. The whole grid would be powered by thousands, hundreds of thousands of solar panels and wind turbines out in the desert in Arizona and New Mexico and other places, Kansas. And that would all be made pronto freaking fast, and we wouldn't be burning any more coal. There wouldn't be any more coal ash dumps. I'd get those people a safe place to stay, and they'd be growing their own food, and I would make some shit happen. But the Democrats would never allow that. That would be like slavery. So like I said in the top of this, a whole lot of people would hate me, but I would make shit happen. And a lot of things would get done for the better of humanity. But it's not going to happen. But I still enjoy writing these things. Is there anybody still with me? There's 18 people. So I'd publicly hang on TV the bastards that invented Roundup and other toxic pesticides. How about that? 9, I'd completely eliminate chlorine and fluoride from the water systems and issue water filters to everyone with all the money saved from cutting all other BS. Damn right. All that money saved from executing all those prisoners could be used to buy good people water filters. People that are drinking chlorine and fluoride, people that are spending thousands of dollars on bottled water. Well, we'd get rid of the chlorine and fluoride in the water systems. We'd clean up the water systems and stop dumping all those pesticides on the crops and all the rest of that coal ash crap and yada yada. And we'd issue everyone good quality water filters. And when you clean up people's water, then they don't need all those drugs going into their brains. And maybe then they'd stop shooting people in mass shootings. You see, you're going to see a whole lot more of that. The more sick people get, the more people are going to commit atrocities. Doesn't everyone see that? Can everyone not see how the more toxic people get in their bodies and minds, the more atrocities are going to happen in this world? You've only just begun. You've only just begun to see all the shit happening. Kiss for luck and we're on our way. I know, it sounds nutty, huh, to be talking about something like that and sing a Carpenter's song. But it's the truth. The more nutty people are going to get, the more they're going to do crazy, crazy shit. And somebody will start to talk about it besides me. Somebody on the news will get brave. They'll start to talk about, well, maybe it's all that Zoloft people are doing. You think it could be all that OxyContin that's driving people nuts? So, number 10. I'd force everyone to take natural birth control classes and limit children to 2 max. Just like they did in China, they limited it to 1 max. Anyone that goes over the quota has to get a mandatory vasectomy and or tubes tied. Absolutely, I'm telling you, there are way too many humans. This is bad news for Utahns back in my home state. This is some bad news for those people back there because they still think, a lot of them, still think that that's what they should do. Make 8 babies, 10 babies, like their parents did back in the day, like their grandparents did back in the day. I got news for y'all. Something, somehow, somewhere is going to whack you in the head, whether it be the expenses involved, or maybe Trump will come along, or somebody, some president will get wise and say, hey, we're not going to give you all those deductions for all those more and more children. In fact, we're going to tax you more. We're going to tax you more for each kid that you have. And you're not going to get all those food stamp benefits for each kid that you have. So this is what I'm talking about with me, the last one there, my taking the hard line. Because that's kind of how I am. I'm kind of a person that says, hey, people, hey, humanity, wake the up. Stop doing what you're doing. Because there are books on Amazon that I've seen that are rated 4.9. There's a book rated 4.9 on natural birth control. And all you have to do is educate yourself. You see, if I were the president, that's another thing. I would force everyone, every single school, every high school in America, maybe even junior high, would learn natural birth control. And everyone would learn the consequences like they are learning right now, like in India. Okay, so that's the perfect example. See how many people are still with me? 18. Woohoo! So if right now I was watching another program on PBS, I like to watch PBS. I also watch NBC News sometimes. But I was watching about how the world's aquifers, the wells, are all drying up. And the reason is because there's so many wells being drilled. And they're having to go deeper and deeper and deeper and find more and more new places. Now, that's not happening here in North Carolina because there's so much water. But it can get dry here. But in West Kansas, the aquifer, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a huge, huge aquifer that comes down from the Rocky Mountains out of Wyoming. And it feeds a massive amount of our croplands in the Midwest. And that aquifer is getting drier and drier and drier. Additionally, there are places in India that are completely losing all of their water sources, all of their well water. And it keeps getting drier and drier. And farmers are committing suicide. Lots of farmers are committing suicide. And you see, they have this problem in India. And any of you that are Indian, and you understand what I'm going to talk about right now, and that is the matchmaking problem. One of the things that prevents people from making babies is that people don't find the right mate. They don't find someone that they really like. Well, they don't have that problem in India because the parents matchmake them. They kind of force their children to come together and get married, and then there's a lot of pressure on them also to make babies. There's pressure on everyone in the whole world by their parents, by their grandparents, etc., to make me some more grandchildren. When are you going to make me a grandparent? Well, guess what? People, the human animal, is radically overpopulated in this world. Radically overpopulated. And killing itself off with that overpopulation. And so you're going to see that things are going to change. And that will not be like a voluntary. That will not be a voluntary thing. It's happening as a natural consequence of that overpopulation. A lot of the things that men are doing, whether it be cell phones or whether it be pesticides or whether it be whatever it may be, sperm counts are going down radically. It may be that a lot of people just won't be able to make a baby. And so what are they doing? Oh, they're cheating. They're cheating because anybody that has money can get in vitro fertilization, whatever it's called. You can get implants. You can have somebody else make your baby for you if your wife can't do it. There's all different ways to cut corners and cheat. But most people won't be able to afford that. And a lot of people just won't be able to make babies anymore because of whatever reason. And there's just so many things that Mother Nature is going to do. Just so many things that Mother Nature is going to naturally force humanity to do. Humans think that they're so damn smart. They think they're so effing smart. They think that they can get around things, but they're learning. They're learning the opposite, that that's just not going to be the way it is. And on that note, I would like to end tonight's Sunday Night Live. And I don't know when I'll do another one, but I really could use some business, y'all. And I would appreciate your going to brettsnaturalhealth.com and buying a shindig. Buy yourself a wood roller. They're so sweet. My wood rollers are just like awesome. And my pillows. If you buy a pillow in the next 6 days till the end of the month, 5 days, you will get an extra case included, valued at $15. $15. An undyed case costs usually $15, and you get one free with any pillow purchased. And also, if you buy a stone foot friend, you get a free soother tool. I don't have one right here, but the little soother tools that are usually $13, if you buy a stone foot friend, and I have some beautiful stones, and they're from South Africa right now. If you buy one, you get a soother for free. I sent one to California just the other day, to Claremont, California. Not the Claremont that I lived in San Diego, but another Claremont spelled differently in California. I sent one out to, oh no, I want to do some thank yous real quick. I'll tell you some of the people that I really appreciate for having purchased some products lately. Martha bought another pillow today. I read you her review. Thank you, Martha. Arthur bought that foot friend. Arthur. Marilyn bought a pillow, I think. Peggy bought a soother. Brian bought, let's see what Brian bought. I'm just guessing because I'm looking at my screen here. Let me look at his order. Oh, yeah. You know that Purple Heart roller that I had? I only had one of them. Brian Twos bought that Purple Heart roller, and he is loving it. He already emailed me. He is loving that roller. I knew somebody would grab that sucker. That Purple Heart is hard and heavy wood, and it's from Brazil. Imagine how much Purple Heart right now is being burned to the ground. It's so sad. It's so sad, but that's the way it is. Some things will never change. Brandon bought, what did Brandon buy? Brandon and Jose bought something. Nathan bought something. Brandon bought orthotics, right. So Brandon is an ND, a naturopathic doctor, and one of his clients needed some orthotics. I made a perfect pair the other day of orthotics for Brandon, for Brandon's client. Oh, Josie, not Jose. Josie bought orthotics too. Josie bought orthotics, and that was her second pair, and they went out of the country. This time, Josie was in the UK. Now she's back in Canada. She paid for the orthotics. It cost $25. Okay, so that's what it costs because the orthotics don't weigh that much. It only costs $25 for shipping for orthotics out of this country. So that's one of the cheaper shipping items that you can get from me. But she bought a second pair because she likes them so much. And Tracy bought, I think, a pillow. Karen bought a bunch of stuff. Karen L bought a Millet Hole pillow, a shindig, and a stone foot friend from me. Thanks so much, Karen. And she called me back the other day. I called her to see how she liked her products, and she loves them all. Loves them all. And I'm hoping to get some really good reviews from her on my site soon. So thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for having bought my products and keeping me going, keeping me living out here in the country where I can breathe. It's so important for me to keep afloat. And that's why, one of the reasons why I do these videos, because I want the people, those of you that want to help yourselves by doing the self-massage, by getting clean air and clean water, by stretching, by eating healthy organic food, by growing your own garden, by doing meditating or just sitting peacefully and getting connected to God, by taking care of your animals well, by going out for walking, all of the different things that are so important for you to take the time. You have to figure out somehow, some way, you have to figure out how to get that extra half hour or 2 hours to do that enema, to cleanse out your colon, to change your diet, to do all of the different things that take time and effort and education on how to do. These videos are for you to learn how and to be prompted to do those things so that you can survive and so that you can evolve spiritually, so that when you die, you move on to a better world than this one. A better world. People aren't just losers, for lack of a better word. When you can get your life better, then you can progress into a better world. And I want all of you and me to do that. And my products are geared for helping you to do that. So thanks everybody for joining me. Thanks so much. Thanks Ocean Sound, Karen, John, Joe, Alice, Thunderbird, familiar names. People, I know your comments, and some of you I know on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining. Have a great week.